Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everybody, the honorable person, my lecturer, Miss Nunun Indraswari, and all of my beloved friends. First of all, let us thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala of His blessing we are able to come here to join in this meeting. Secondly, salawat and salam also delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightest, inshallah. Okay, in this meeting, we will discuss about testing language skill, especially in listening skill. We are from group 7. I'm Yuliana Sari as moderator and the presenter, and my friends, I'm Niko Kasah. Before we start our presentation today, I will say sorry because my friends, I'm Niko Kasah, cannot join in this presentation section because he have some trouble. Okay, the material will be delivered by myself. First, listening and speaking are typically exercised together in oral interaction. Several occasions for the listening, they are listening to the radio, to lectures, the railway station announcements. No speaking is called for. Listening is included for its backwards effect on the development of oral skills. Listening may also be tested for diagnosis purposes. And why we have to test listening? First, assess how well student has mastered what has been taught. And then as listening skill is one of the language skill to be developed as the receptive skill. And then to be proficient in the language means to be able to listen effectively. And we move to the listening text type. The first, we have announcements. And then lectures, radio and TV, instruction and direction, and then meeting and seminar. And the last, we have dialogue. Okay. Now we move to the ways to test listening. The first we have testing phoneme discrimination. Sounds are sometimes difficult to discriminate in a language other than one's native language, especially if the sounds are not distinguished in the native language. There are several ways to test phoneme discrimination. There is ability to tell the difference between different sounds. One way to test phoneme discrimination is to have the testers look at the picture and listen to 4 words and decide which word is the project in the picture. The words chosen as alternatives should be close to the correct word. However, it is often difficult to find common enough words with similar sounds, and if unfamiliar words are used, they will not make good alternative. Alternatively, the testes could be present with 4 pictures and be asked to choose the picture that match the word that they hear. Another possibility is to give testes 3 words and ask them to indicate which 2 are the same. Finally, testes can listen to a spoken sentence and be asked to identify which one of 4 similar words were used in the sentence. And the second, we have discriminating stress and intonation. The ability to recognize stress can be tested by having tested listen to a sentence that they also have in front of them. Tests are instructed to indicate the word that carries the main stress of the sentence. And then we have the understanding sentence and dialogue. A teacher can also test the student understanding of individual sentence and dialogue. And then task using visual material like matching and true or false task, math task, drawing tasks, and etc. And the last task involving talks and lecture. For students who will be use English in school where it is the medium of instruction, there will be situations where they need to listen to lectures or talks in English and take notes and or answer the question to the lecture or talk. Therefore, listening tests can involve listening to formal or informal talks. Okay, now we move to the how to design tasks. Design tasks um, we have to see about reliability, validity, and practicality. Now we move to the task type of listening testing. The first we have monitoring task. The section announcement task above is the example of this kind of procedure. Longer text can be used as well, asking the learner, for example, to identify the linguistic signal a speaker uses to signpost a summary of key points. Such text can be graded even if its text is ostensibly beyond the learner level. Just locating a gate number or a name in a other size complex and distinct recording is a good test of the ability to monitor and ignore the unnecessary. And next, the compare and contrast task. See above for an example of this task type. Two similar but distinct events can be described in speech of listeners to identify keywords. And then we have matching tasks. Getting people to match a short audio description to a picture or a series of similar pictures where only one represents the content of the text is a good test of detailed understanding. And then we have multiple choice tests. This test can be careful target on particular item in the text to test the ability to listen for the child. If a likely meaning of lexemes and understanding test, tense relationships, and so on. They can also be targeted at the ability to listen for gaze and identify keywords and phrases. The great disadvantage in terms of listening skill assessment in this the learner need to hold all the alternatives in their hand while they are also being required to focus on the text itself. Alternatives needs, to be kept short if cognitive overload is to be avoided. And next we have direction and instruction. In this task, learner may be required to listen and follow instruction. Such tasks, because of their artificiality, have limited uses, but they do test intensive listening skill. Popular topics are origami and following direction to locate something. They can be motivating and intriguing tests. And we have labeling, labeling tasks. In this task, the learner are given a diagram of something fairly complicated and asked to match the description of various labels, like A, B, C, to part of the diagram that the listening text refers to. This is an important academic skill for some learners, but of limited uh, utility in other things. Next, we have note-taking task. In this task, the usual procedure it is to require learner to take notes as they listen and then, when the address or lecture is over, they are presented with questions to answer on what they have heard and use the notes to respond, providing there is a level playing field. Next, we have dictation. Dictation wanders in and out of patient, but it still seems as a reliable, if not too authentic way of testing listening ability. The text has to be carefully chosen to be relevant. The problem with this sort of test is that isn't always clear what being tested because a good ideal depends on the learner ability to develop grammatical knowledge and logic to, to infer what the text should be. It is a fairly flexible procedure because we can force learner to start with a blank piece of a paper or have them fill gaps in a text. The latter can be quite finely targeted. Okay, now we have after we know about the testing listening skill, we have conclude there are a number of ways to testing listening, but particularly when testing listening proficiency gets more advanced, testing listening becomes more complicated. It becomes more difficult to separate listening from other skill. And combining skills can put great demands on the test. In addition, some ways of testing listening do not reflect real-world listening tasks. In choosing tasks for listening, the teacher should be aware of this problem. Okay, I think enough for my presentation today. I'm so sorry if there have a mistake. And thanks for your nice attention. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.